when we asked Knight who did he see as the sort of perfect actor as in the role of Malcolm, he said, well, I wrote it for Bruce Willis, but obviously he's kind of a pie-in-the-sky choice, and I didn't, there's no chance of getting him or anything. And now that we've got this small budget and we can make the movie, that's what I was thinking. Who can we get to be in the movie that fits within our budget? And so I said to him, well, why don't we take a shot at Bruce? All I can say is no.
I called my agent and said that I wanted to do it. I said, raised my hand and asked to be included.
Yeah, The Sixth Sense. It's a musical comedy that we're doing here. Started out as a drama, kind of a ghost story, and then Knight, the writer-director, decided to turn it into a musical comedy, and we're all keeping our fingers crossed.
Well, Toni Collette was another kind of unusual situation in that Knight really wanted a South Philadelphian look, feel, speech, everything about this character. And this is somebody from Australia who's been in these other kind of offbeat movies, and I think there's a moment that when an actor comes in, they claim the role, and Toni Collette did that.
Okay, you want me to answer your questions? Well, who's going to answer mine?
And she's just such a wonderful actress that she just got it, and she just knocked us out. She claimed the role.
I was a big fan, a huge fan of Muriel's Wedding, and Toni Collette was someone that I asked to come in to read the part.
I started reading it early in the morning and I did not stop, and I bawled my eyes out. It was the most beautiful, scary, spiritual, real story and script that I think that I've ever read. I was at a really fragile point, and it made me feel good about being alive. It made me feel okay about dying, and that, for a film to be able to do that, that's pretty special.
I was amazed by the quality of realism and the quality of the supernatural that creeps into the story. It's not a movie that sets out to be spine-chilling, but it has, as the title is, The Sixth Sense. It just touches on that extrasensory perception that most of us have some experience of at some time.
I think Olivia Williams has perhaps the hardest part in the film, because if she's acting in a scene like the dinner scene, she's acting the film for the audience as they're seeing the movie for the first time, where Bruce is there and Bruce is late for their anniversary dinner, and she ultimately has to make a sarcastic comment, happy anniversary, and get up and walk away from him, her husband. And that's one way of playing the scene. She has to play the scene another way, where she's decided to go out on her anniversary all by herself to the place that her and her husband got engaged, and to be there experiencing mourning, and ultimately to say happy anniversary wistfully to herself, and sadly get up and leave. And both of those scenes need to be equally real and play at the same time. And I don't think an actor has ever been asked to handle that kind of challenge before, and she had to do it in scene after scene after scene. And if she hadn't been able to do it as effectively as she had, we wouldn't have had a successful film.
And then I met Donnie Wahlberg. Donnie is obviously, one of the members of New Kids on the Block, and was his teen idol, and for so long. And the thing was, I saw Vincent very different than Donnie. When I met Donnie, he was buffed, muscular guy. He called me up, he said, you know what, I'm going to lose some weight for the movie. And I'm thinking 5 pounds, trim, get a little trim, maybe 10 pounds if, he kills himself. He came in, and I didn't even recognize him. He had lost 43 pounds, and that is an amazing amount of weight to lose in that much time, or any amount of time.
You know why you're afraid when you're alone?
The Vincent scene is the gunshot that needs to be heard through the whole movie. Suspense writers sometimes talk about the first chapter of a novel as the slingshot. That, the first chapter, whatever happens, is the pullback of the slingshot, and it has to be pulled back far enough so the whole movie rides on that pull. And our movie was like that. When he finished the scene, he just collapsed in the bathroom, and I was on the bathroom floor with him, talking to him about it. It was amazing.
You have a secret, but you don't want to tell me.
Cole's role, it's so difficult and so complex. It seemed like the most impossible task ever. And then Haley Joel Osment comes in, And I'm like, what a cute little kid, what a sweet kid. And I said, okay, let's do the part. I was really beat. How many times have I done these scenes with these kids? I've heard my words just destroyed 1,000,000 times with 1,000,000 different kids. And I just was, so beat. And I just leaned back and he starts the scene. And it was like, I've never heard the scene before. Like, I've never heard the dialogue ever said before. It was like a movie that I didn't write. It was just, all of a sudden, every word was perfect. And he finished the scene and he was crying and I was crying and I was like, I could not believe. I go, oh my God, who are you?
Cole is for one, he's a fighter, and he'll fight whatever comes his way, whatever is bothering him, and the shadow that's over him for most of the movie, he fights it and fights it and fights it and will go down fighting. He's very interesting. He's a very interesting character. He plays on all kinds of different fronts and colors. He isn't just a depressed, sad little boy for what's overshadowing him, and he'll try and be a normal kid through whatever happens. He's a very deep person.
He's the most talented child actor I've ever seen. I mean, I would rank him with some of the best adult actors I've ever worked with. He really is just immensely talented and pretty much unaffected by his talent and doesn't really make a big deal about it, but he really is a great actor.
In all great movies, the great movies, there's some element of magic. When I say magic, something that goes beyond paper where you go, you put A with B and you get this. No, it's something beyond that. You can't recreate it if you tried. You can't recreate it. And Haley is our magic.